Hello everyone, welcome to BISP Solutions. My name is Payal Makijani and today we're going to learn further about enterprise planning and budgeting cloud services. To recap about EPBCS, what we learned was first we learned about creating an application. Secondly, we learned about how do we configure our application, and then we learned about importing all the metadata, and then I told you about how planning takes place with three different perspectives. That is one, direct data input, second is driver based planning, and third is trend based planning. So currently in today's webinar, we're going to learn further about driver-based planning. In yesterday's webinar, we discussed about driver-based planning in driver-based planning and how it works and the benefits of driver-based planning. Today, we're going to learn its application in our Oracle EPBCS software, right? So let's move on to our application. And this is our application homepage, EPBCS homepage, right? Now first let's click on to the application and configure our application. Here, uh, if we talk about drivers, we have we do different revenue planning, expense planning with three different perspectives, which are told currently, that is direct data input, driver based planning, and trend based planning. Okay, so driver based planning, we have so many drivers for the revenue, for the expense. There are balance sheet drivers and there are cash flow drivers, respectively. Here are some examples of revenue driver. Like for example, if you want to calculate the product revenue, we have volume, average selling price, discount percentage, return percentage. If we talk about service revenue, we have service percentage, service hours, service rate. Similarly, we have drivers for expense. For example, for compensation expense, we have drivers like headcount, attrition rate, average salary, direct labor percentage, and so on. Similarly, we have drivers for our balance sheet, that are DSO, write-off percentage, days in inventory, prepaid expense percentage of operating expense, and so on. So let's move on to our application, and let's first set up the foundation for our plans and forecast. Um, Here I have already enabled the features as I told you in our previous webinars. Here I've already enabled all the features. Close. Now we will review the time period and granularity, planning and forecast preparations. Click on to the planning and forecast preparation, and current fiscal year is financial year 23. The site is a bit slow. Configure. Here we will select current fiscal year to be 2023, and the period uh, going on is November, right? And the current fiscal year, we will plan for current fiscal year only, I think. And financial year 23 monthly, this is a plan section where I'm defining how I want to plan my for how much time I want to plan for financial year 23, 24, 25, and 26. And similarly with forecast, I would define how regularly I will define, and I have set it to the monthly, save, and close. Okay, and then close. Right now let's move on, and if you can see right here, all the entities, market, product is not configured yet, so we will upload metadata and configure the same. Import files, entity. Okay, validate and import, close. See, before the status was not configured, and then it is completed with a green flag. Similarly, we will configure all the dimensions we created, close, and the product. Okay, close. Oh god, there has been an error. So what I did was I configured all my dimensions, and then after configuring the same, uh, click onto the tools and set variables. When you will reach to the user variables, you will have to set, or you will have to define all the user variable for each of the dimension. Like for component, I have given user variable definition as I descendants of OWP total components. Same with currency, I have given the I descendants of input currency. Similarly, I would fill all of the dimension and define the same and save. Okay, and then we would go to the user preferences. When you will click onto the user preferences, you will get into the general page where you will on the very left hand side of the page, you have so many options right here, and you would click into the user variables, and then you will have to define the member of each of the dimension. Now what is the purpose of the same? Selecting user variables, user variables were added when the business process is created. User variables act as filters and forms, enabling planners to focus only on certain members. In this section, you set values for user val user members. Now, when you set by clicking onto the member selector, you select each of the member you are working with, and you will define the same for each of the dimension, like I have done it here. Save. Okay, and then you would again move on to the home, and then now let me create a store. Let me tell you a story for the revenue. Now here we are working with the financial data of a company. Suppose we are working with a company named eBelt, right? It's a it's a software it is a consultancy firm, and it generates revenue from four sources, that is audit and assurance, consulting, financial advisory, and risk advisory services, right? So uh, we have so many drivers of each of the category of the revenue. Like for audit assurance, we have drivers as number of audits into audit fee per entity, right? And secondly, for consulting, we have number of clients into total hours of consultation and the total fee charge, which gives us the consulting revenue of particular amount. Similarly, with the financial advisories, we have number of hours of consultation, number of clients we deal with in the entire total years, and fee per hour. These are some drivers relating to the revenue of ebuild, right? So now we will work on the similar things in our own application. So first, we need to create drivers in our application. And how do we do it? We go into our application, configure, financials. Now here we are working with revenue account, so we will click onto the revenue accounts. Now I have all so many accounts right here: service revenue, product revenue, cost of sales, income statements, KPIs, revenue KPIs, gross profit, and so on. So here I would create all the drivers in service revenue, because these are all services I am dealing with currently. If I will have product revenue, so I will here choose product revenue and create my drivers. Similarly, if I would if I'm working with revenue KPIs, I will choose the same. Gross profit, I will choose the same. Similar in, in a respective manner. Okay, so here I am working with service revenue, and here I have already created drivers for the audit assurance and consulting, number of audits. So here I have created a driver name as number of audits. Let me create some drivers for the um, financial advisory services, number of clients. So here I will add a driver action, add number of clients, number of financial number of financial advisory clients. Okay, this would be the name of member, mention the alias, number of financial advisory clients, and my time balance would be flow, my data storage type would be store, my data type would be non-currency, and save. Here I will create another driver named total hours of consultation, total no, hours of FA consultation. It would again be non-currency, then save. Right, similarly I will create fee per hour action, add fee per hour, and this is for financial advisory services, right? Control C, Control V, and this is fee per hour. This would be my alias, fee per hour, financial advisory services, and this would be currency. Choose your data type very wisely when you're doing it. Save. And here I created all the drivers, and then what would I get? I will get the financial advisory income, right? From all of these drivers I would get financial advisory income. So what I would do is save. Now here I would go to gross profit. Here I have, or say it, control C. Here I would create member named as financial advisory revenue, and this would be currency, and save. Right, this is how we create drivers in our application. Similarly, when you will go to if you will, if you are planning to planning for the expense, you can go ahead and create your drivers in your expense account. Similarly, you can create additional drivers in your balance sheet accounts, cash flow accounts, and so on. There is no limit for creating drivers. Then actions, refresh database, create, refresh database. Now, after refreshing our database, next step is to load and calculate data. In this section, you load historical data and run calculations before viewing the plans. Okay, so first, move on to our overview. In this overview page on the very right hand side, you have two icons, refresh and actions. Click onto the action button and import data. I have already created a uh, date historical data sheet for the same, which I will show you. This is my data sheet which I have created for the drivers for the month of January to November for the year financial year 2023. Okay, and here I have mentioned all the point of view where I want my data to be loaded, and data load cube name. So this I would import into my own application. Now import data, create, choose file. I have the file, I have the file name historical data, and it will be a CSV file. Validate and import. Okay, close, close, click on to jobs, and we can see our data is imported successfully, right? And you can view your data through smart view in Excel sheet as well. Here I have connected a smart view, and okay, so you can see your historical data in smart view as well. Okay, now let's move on further. After After importing the data, you will calculate actuals and you will start preparing the plans. Okay, so come on to the home page. This is our home page, and click on to rules. Here we have already uh, pre-built plans in EPBCS application. We have to run this. um, First we will go to calculate actuals. After scrolling a bit, you will get calculate actuals. Here you have calculate actuals. You can launch by clicking onto the arrow button. Mention the entity you are working with. I am here working with Finance US, so we will mention that Finance US. Okay, then periods. Here I will give I descendants of year total. Okay, and select years again. Then here I am working with financial year 2023. So, and then click on to launch. Our calculate actual rule was run successfully. Okay, then move on to the roll up. Again, launch the roll up pre-built business rule. Select the years you're working with. You can choose any function as well. Total entity, OEP plan, OEP working, currency USD we are working with. So yes, and launch. You have to launch three business rules. One was calculate actual, roll up, and third one is plan, prepare plan. Okay, this is the business rule name prepare plan. So launch it. The entity we are working with is Finance US. So okay, then years, and then currency. Okay, launch. The three business rules were run successfully. Now when we click on to home page, you would see financials revenue. Okay, we have the data here. Um this is the home page you're working this is the page you're working with, and we have four things right here, if you can see. Okay, so this one right here would be overview. Okay, this one would be driver and trend base, driver and trend based. Okay, third we are working with direct data input, which we learned about it in previous video. And fourth one right here is income statement. right? So here, we are working with driver and trend based. So click on to that, and we can see um, two forms right here, but the drivers we created are not visible here. See, there is nowhere to be seen. These are all the pre-built drivers, and the drivers we created, we cannot see it. So what we'll do, we will click onto our navigator and go to dimensions. Yes, so we can see right here in OFS financial accounts, OFS revenue planning, OFS revenue drivers, we have some predefined drivers, and we have OFS revenue drivers on forms. If we see the OFS service revenue uh, OFS services revenue drivers, here we created all our drivers. Now to plan our things according to the trends we have in the environment, in the market environment, we need to create um, members in revenue drivers on forms as well. And how do we create it? We create a shared member of the drivers we already created. Suppose for example, I created number of audits right here. I have also created number of audit shared member as well. Similarly, uh, here we will create number of suppose, wait a minute, let's see here. For each of the member, for each of the driver, like some number of audits, we need to create two members. One is number of audits and second is number of audit shared member, right? So here I have created these three, and let's create other drivers for all these members. I have here created number of clients. Let's create a shared member for number of clients. What we will do, we will create a member, and then at the data storage property we will mark it as shared, and we will get a warning as the properties will be overridden with the base members properties on choosing shared data storage. Okay, then save it. We got number of clients shared. Similarly, total hours of consultation, create a sibling, data storage property type as shared. Okay, and save. Okay, and then offshore fee, create a sibling offshore fee, and then label only as data storage property type as shared, and save. Similarly, I will create all of the drivers and control C, data storage property type as shared. Okay, save. And then consulting revenue is the member where all the data will get calculated, right? You can give member formula in the consulting revenue according to your planning needs. Now we will again move on to the app uh, home page. Click on to financials revenue, and then click on to the drivers and trend base. Now you will see all the member extra drivers you have created. See, you can see in total hours of consultation of fee uh, per hour onshore, fee per hour offshore, total fee charge, consulting revenue. You can see everything. Now this completes our requirement with the actual and historical data. Now for it's time for us to plan for future. So how would we do that? First, uh, select the assumption we want, what we want in our future, how do we see our future to be, how do we analyze our environment, the business environment. Maybe I think the fee um, the total hours of consultation would increase by actual average. So here I have current year actual average, right? Here I have so many um, assumptions: current year actual average, current period actual, hold forecast to current year plan, prior year actual average, and so many more. You can choose according to your own planning, business needs and the planning requirement. Here, just for example, I am taking current year actual average. So while clicking on to this, I will the data. Here I have got the confirmation message of business rules that ran successfully and the data has been saved, and I can see how many hours um, in the financial year 2024 I would take for in the entire year, that is 163 hours. Same fee per hour, total fee charge. Suppose here my total fee charge in the historical data was um 90 rupees. Okay, so what it would be in future? um Suppose I want current period actual, um current period actual, and I want to give it a trend. I think by looking at a few historical data of the year, I believe my total fee would increase by 10%. This is the things we do in trend. Okay, so I am giving a 10% increase in my current period actual. So let's see how it goes. So my next quarterly plan would be triple double one double eight. Sorry, I would charge a fee of double one double eight quarterly as my total fee. This is how we plan as a driver based planning. My consult What would be my consulting revenue in the next quarter? So according to my assumption, it would be current year actual average, and I'm not giving any trend for now. And see what it would be. See, it would be 36131, 36131, and historically it was 33,7500, and now it would be 36,131. So this is how driver based planning works. You can see driver based revenue here as well, how much audit and assurance would give me in the next quarter according to my planning and budgeting, and how much consulting revenue would give, how much financial advisory revenue would give. All my revenue trends would be visible here in the data chart form, and all my driver trends are visible here. You could see all the forecasting here and the plan here respectively, right? So this is how driver based planning works, and you could see overview here about the total revenue for the financial year 2023 and 2024. This is all about um, planning and budgeting according to driver based planning. So this was it for today's video. You can similarly plan similarly exercise about expense drivers and all. And I will see you tomorrow with the rest of the examples. Thank you so much.